you so much. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Can you show hands? How many of you are aware that you should work on your strengths, but you're not quite sure what your strengths really are? Yeah, thought so. How many of you would like to go more in the flow and get what you want out of life with what you already have? Okay, excellent, excellent. You're in the right spot today, for sure. And one more question. How many of you are wondering right now, where does this strange accent come from? Yeah, there are a few, yeah, exactly. You want to know? Yeah, okay. I'm Icelandic. Born and raised in the country of Iceland. And that's where this hard Icelandic accent comes from. I hope that you will be able to understand me today. Okay? Okay, good. Speaking of Iceland, and another question to you. How many of you were part of or watched the European Football Championship last summer? Soccer it's called here in the UK, US. Yeah, you did. And there's another one go, who? So how about if we start the session today with a little who? Okay? I have Team Iceland with me here that I want to bring on board. I want you all to stand up, and we're going to get some Viking who into this session, okay? Are you in with me? Okay, excellent, excellent. This is Team Iceland. Now you have to follow them, okay? And me, of course. So we have a drummer here. That's what you have to have. You have to have a drummer. So Þórana, can you please show them how? Okay. Eloise, come. Okay, you got that? And we go. Hoo! 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 Yoo-hoo! That was good, wasn't it? Do you know that it takes us, human beings, less than 10 seconds, in fact, it takes us 7 seconds, the first time someone sees us, we meet a new person, we look into a new website, whatever we do, it takes us less than 7 seconds to make 11 judgments. In only 7 seconds, we've decided if this person or this website or whatever it is that we're doing, is it a friend? Is it a foe? Is this someone that has authority? Is this someone that is above me? Or is it below me? Is it someone that I can trust? In only 7 seconds. Am I going to listen to that person? Oops. My 7 seconds are out. So what do you think? Are you going to listen to me? Yes. Do I have you? Yes. Okay. Whew. For a moment I thought I had to leave. Okay, the agenda today. I especially like to talk about to you, I want to go into the things that makes your X factor. And what I want to do, when I was planning this session, I thought to myself, wow, this is something that I'm really, really passionate about. Now, how am I going to put everything that I want to share with this crowd into 45 minutes? Couldn't do it. So I thought to myself, okay, I have to kind of like strategize here. I have to figure out what is it really that this crowd can take away that is of value for you. And so there are a few things that I'd really like to go through with you today. This is going to be an interactive session. I'm seeing people go, huh? Yeah. You might have fun. And you might actually, in my heart, I hope that you take away something that you didn't know that you had It's going to transform your life from now on. Are you in for that? Excellent. So I'm going to be talking about your X factor. I'm going to talk about what makes your X factor, how you can discover your X factor. The 4 things that you need to think about when you're thinking about your X factor. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that. I'm going to be talking about your blind spot. Because what I've noticed in the years that I've been working on this field is that we all seem to have some sort of a blind spot. We have a blind spot for our own brilliance. I know I do. And it took me quite a long time to understand my X factor. And I will tell you a little bit more about that later. But the thing with our blind spot is that our brilliance is so close to us that we tend not to see it. We tend not to value it. Sounds something that you can nod your head and say, yeah, I'm familiar with that. But however, when we have discovered the blind spot, there are certain things that really open up for you. Things that you didn't even imagine was possible. And the thing about that blind spot that I've noticed as well, that when I'm helping people to identify their X factor and discovering that blind spot of theirs, they actually go and tap into their sexy factor. So that's what I'm going to go a little bit into today as well. I hope you're in for that. Yeah? Okay. Because what I've noticed is when we do discover this whole thing and when we are in our own zone, I was going to swear. That's really sexy. Don't you agree? Yeah, exactly. Okay. So why don't we start today by just sharing, if you're excited to know your X factor and your sexy factor today, why don't you share that with your network and let them know where you are and what you're going to be doing. So here's a little information that you can use to share on the internet. Because what I want you when you leave this session, I really truly do want you to be inspired. Okay? Fine, excellent. So, let's start with the beginning. Who is Runa? Who am I? Well, my name is Runa, and I'm daughter of Magnús. That's the Icelandic way of how we put up our last names. As you can see, Magnús, daughter. My dad's first name is Magnús, and I'm his daughter. Okay? So you can figure out what your name would be if you were living in Iceland. Okay, now, I've been working for the past 8 years. I've been working internationally as a personal branding speaker and strategist. And that did not happen just like this. It took me actually quite a while to understand that I had something that was unique. Just like anyone else, I didn't see it. I was blind for it. But it was at a certain time, a moment in my life, when I was getting really sick of trying to be what I thought everyone else wanted me to be. Sounds familiar to anyone of you? Yeah. And I was trying to fit into all these different boxes that are out there. And as a result of that, I didn't feel really good. I didn't feel that I was valued. Now I know I didn't even value myself. But it was then one day that for some reason I started to listen really carefully to what other people were saying to me. And one of the things that other people saw in me was that I had some sort of a ability to see others people's X factors. I was able to see what was unique about other people. I personally, honestly, I thought everyone could do that. I thought that's nothing special. So in the years to come, I started to figure out if I can do that, there is something going on in my brain that I can put into a strategy so that I can help other people out there to figure out what makes their X factor, what makes them who they are. We all know that we are unique, right? But what is it really that is special? What is it really that is unique about me? So that's how I started up my business as a personal branding strategist and speaker, and I wrote my book about it. Later in life, back in 2008, where my country, Iceland, collapsed, I also had the opportunity to work with my nation on finding what made us unique. And that was part of when we started to rebrand Iceland. So are you ready to get to know a little bit about your own X factor? Yeah? Excellent. Enough about me. What I would like you to do now is to stand up. Stand up, thank you. And it's time for this crowd to get to know each other. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to just a random person, someone that you haven't met at Inbound. And I want you to go to them, and I want you to shake their hand, tell them your name and your occupation. And once you listen to their reply and they tell you their name and their occupation, I want you to pay attention to what happens within you when you do that, okay? Are you in for that? Is that clear? Yes. Go to the next person, find them, introduce you, and be aware, what do you say? All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You can stop now. So tell me, what did you notice when you listened to the other person telling you their name and occupation? Who wants to share? What did you notice? Yeah? He was smiling. She was smiling, okay. And what happened to you when you noticed that smile? And how did that feel? It felt good. Okay. What else happened? Who else want to share? Yeah?
I immediately started making assumptions about what this person might be like based on what they said about their job.
Okay. So your 11 things started to tick in. You noticed that? Ah, okay. Yeah?
I noticed that I wasn't willing to let go of Erica's hand.
We see connections. Okay. And how did that make you feel?
It made me feel good. It made me feel like I was being more attentive to what she was sharing with me.
Ah, interesting. And when you became more attentive to that, how did that make you feel?
Like I was being genuine.
Ooh, wow. Thank you. Being genuine. Thank you. Yeah, excellent. Great. Anyone else wants to share? Yeah.
I completely embarrassed myself by tripping over this chair.
That's being authentic, isn't it? Yeah. So how did that make you feel?
It opened me up a little bit, you know, I could go any person
True, yeah. So there are things that happen. But the whole thing about being aware of things is actually something that I think they were very often missing. And especially in today's environment where everything is so quick and everything's happening so fast. Being aware of how other people come across to us and being aware of how we come across to others is a huge, huge part of knowing who you are and showing that authentically to the world. Do you agree with me? Good, excellent. Here's the thing, and there are many people that get a little bit upset when I say this often. There's a fact here. You are already a personal brand. That's the fact. I can't tell you how often people say to me, Runa, I'm going to come to you one day when I'm going to build my brand. And I'm like, yeah, sure. As if you didn't know that you already are a brand. There is already something that other people think of when they think of you. That's the thing. There is already something in other people's mindset that pops up when your name comes in a conversation, or when they need a special expertise for something. Will you up in their mind, or will there be someone else? Okay, the thing is, the question is your brand what you want it to be? Are you being known for what you want to be known for, or have you been putting your attention into being everything for everyone because you've been trying to fit into all the different boxes, and as a result of that, other people have determined your brand, not you. There's a huge difference of the two, as you can just imagine, right? People are going, no, I'm going out now. Can't stand this. She's going to tell me something more. Okay, let's go. Here's the thing that I've noticed as well. Your brand is the feeling you leave behind in other people's mindsets. And I love what Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, he says, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So I see this especially with people, specifically women for some reason, that they have chosen to, they've somehow down the line decided that at workplace they're going to be really work extremely heavily on everything they're told to do because they're going to climb the ladder and they really want to climb the ladder. And they get so busy and hung up in doing everything that they think they're supposed to do because one day someone is going to pay attention to them and then nothing happens. Because in fact, all the time, they've been known for the person in the room who always does everything. And everybody thinks that's what they want to do. Sounds familiar to anyone in here? Yeah, I think there are way too many of us in there. Now, this is a favorite quote of mine, what Maya Angelou said. People may forget what you said or what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So it's the feeling, and it's the words that we say that creates the feeling. So if we are aware of what sort of a feeling do we want to leave in other people's mindsets, if we are aware of who we authentically are and how we want to show up in this world, we got to think of the feeling we want to leave behind. And if there is anything that I want you to take away from today's session, is this awareness of what is the feeling you want other people to feel when you're not in the room. Sounds good? So let's go into the X factor. And what does it mean when I'm talking about the X factor? When I'm when I'm trying to explain what I mean, I often use the metaphor of threads in a rope. You know, there are many threads in one rope. And if I look at a person, I see we have experience, we've been to different schools, we have some history, we have knowledge, we have experience, we have all these things. We have sometimes people talk about it as having different hats. Are you with me? So when you have all these different threads in a rope, and when the threads are just a single threads all over the place, they're not really strong, are they? But it's when you take the threads together and you bind it into one strong rope, that's what is really the X factor. So what I've seen with people when I'm working with them is when they know this part, it makes their confidence just boost up. Because that's like the rope that they can hang in there when things are tough. Now I want to give you 2 examples that I thought were interesting and might shine a light into what I'm really talking about. First, I want to tell you a little story about a really, really good friend of mine who asked me to help him out. Now, this guy is super, super intelligent. He is unbelievably talented. Absolutely. I don't know how many courses he's taken. Probably has, 5 university degrees or whatever. He's just a bunch of talent, this guy. One of the things that has been bugging him is because of all his talents, he hasn't really found out which road he should take. Because it's kind of like, oh, should I be a hypnotherapist? That's one of the things that he can do. Or should I be an actor? That's another thing that he is really talented at. Or should I be a singer? Another one, it's quite controversial. Or should I be an NLP practitioner? With all these things, it's one person, honest to God. And he's really puzzled. I mean, who wouldn't be? So as I started to work with him, and we started to talk just a little bit, we found out really what makes him who he is. And at the same time, we did not only find out who he really is, he was able to put it into one sentence and at the same time position himself in the marketplace with that one sentence. Can you guess what it was? Do you want to know? Okay. This is Lee Bannister. He is the European transformational performer. He does transformational work with people through his performance. Because he loves to stay on stage, he teaches people how to overcome their fear with his songs and with his theoretical performance. How is that? It's a combination, isn't it? That one thing, that rope that I described before earlier, right? Another example that I want to share with you, quite different, I must admit. This is Brynjar Karl, an Icelandic autistic boy who is now really transforming families with autistic children all over the world. You see, Brynjar Karl, he found out that one of his X factor was indeed being autistic. With a combination of his love of building Lego ships and Lego things and his obsession with Titanic, he built a replica of the Titanic ship out of Lego. And he is now moving all over the world. He's actually been twice at TED Talk for kids, talking about how you can actually use your autistic X factor to do good. He's an amazing guy. So basically what other people might have seen is obsession with Lego and everything that he had to overcome as being autistic is now the thing that he's sharing with other families. He's actually doing a whole lot of workshops with families that have children with autism. Quite something, don't you think? Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Okay, now, I've talked about Your brand is the feeling that you leave behind. Now, it's your turn. It's your turn.